Harper One and HarperAudio present Held Together, a shared memoir of motherhood, medicine, and imperfect love, by Rebecca N. Thompson, M.D. Read by Courtney Patterson. The information contained in this book is provided for educational, reflective, and community-building purposes only. It is not intended to guide the decisions of any individual, to serve as medical advice, or to substitute for evaluation, diagnosis, or treatment. If you have health concerns, do not delay in consulting a qualified medical professional that you trust to help you, to care for you, and to guard your health. Some names and identifying details within these stories have been changed to protect privacy at the request of the collaborators and their families. This project is dedicated with love to all of our families, born and built and chosen. To everyone whose story is reflected within these pages, for sharing a piece of your patient, generous, miraculous self. To the women, the mothers, and the people we are, and to those we're still becoming.
Soyez comme l'oiseau posé pour un instant sur du rameau trop frêle, qui sont ployés leurs branches et qui chantent pourtant, sachant qu'il a des ailes.
Be like the bird who, halting in her flight on a limb too slight, feels it give way beneath her, yet sings, knowing she has wings.
Les chants du crépuscule.
Songs of Twilight. Victor Hugo. An Invitation. 17 years ago, when I endured a string of life-threatening pregnancy losses and rare medical conditions, being a physician didn't protect me from feeling isolated and overwhelmed. What I longed for was a community of women, or even one encouraging story to reassure me that I wasn't the only person finding the path to motherhood so complicated. But talking about my struggles seemed unimaginable. Watching friends and colleagues host baby showers and celebrate their children's milestones, I balanced precariously along the edges of their lives. I guarded my sadness like a shameful secret, terrified of being seen as a failure or, worse, being treated as an object of pity. As the months wore on, I recognized that my silence wasn't easing the burden. Instead, it was preventing me from healing, both by hindering the forward movement that I needed to heal myself, and by inhibiting my ability to serve as the attentive, compassionate doctor that I aspired to be to help others heal. So I began to reveal my story, tentatively at first. As I did, other women eagerly offered their own stories in return. Stories about becoming a mother, about growing up as a daughter, about being part of a family. Stories that were deeply felt and self-defining, laced with wonder and anguish and persistence and grace. Stories full of moments they had never shared before, even with their closest friends. Stories about holding their lives together just as everything seemed to be falling apart. Though few would have chosen their difficulties, every one of them believed that they wouldn't be who they were if their lives had been simpler, and they were grateful for the wisdom they'd gained. They didn't accept the intolerable assertion we too often foist on the grieving, that everything happens for a reason, but they were making meaning out of everything that had happened. The stories they told were uplifting and joyful, even in the face of great loss. The clear-eyed optimism they embodied, resolute and never naive, led the way down a tangle of paths that diverged from what they had expected and veered instead into what they had experienced. I was in awe of the strength and beauty of these ordinary women in extraordinary circumstances. As I took in the stories of the women all around me, I realized that they were the community I had been longing for. These women changed how I understood my own narrative. Their eloquence reminded me of the power of words and the catharsis in feeling heard. Their trust gave me permission to reach out to others even while I was still finding my way.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?